it's going to be up to them. I don't want to make a decision without knowing all of the particulars. You know what I mean?
And I guess I misspoke. Carrington only had 37 catches for 704 touchdowns, 704 yards, and 4
Wow,
touchdowns.
704 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a pretty productive young man. 704 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was. However, they were already dealing with some injuries. They've already lost another wide receiver in the starting tight end, so they didn't need any help by him not being able to lay off the junk. I don't know. It strikes me as grossly irresponsible.
Of course it is.
And I'm not judging that lifestyle because, look, you're in your 20s. You want to have fun. You're going to parties. I get it. I'm not going to judge you. But could you just hold off for 2 weeks? I mean, honestly.
Well, I mean, as we've seen with like Johnny Manziel, even in what he did in college and in the pros now, some of these kids just can't. They just cannot. Especially you got to think about it. He's 20 years old. Gets invited to a party, probably has every woman known to man thrown at him.
Right.
All the booze, all the drugs he wants. He's got all of this stuff that most adults would have a hard time saying no to, let alone some kid who's got all the spotlight on him. Once again, it's how do you allow him to get into that situation?
Yeah,
but we'll never know.
Yeah, it's a failure on, I think, multiple people's part.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, if he was the one that was smoking or taking or using or whatever it was that he got nailed with, he's ultimately responsible for what went in his body.
I agree.
And I think that if they end up losing this game, how you could not point fingers and ask questions about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, once again, like you said, even though he did have 700 receiving yards and whatnot, they have enough weapons on this team that if they lose, I don't think it's going to be, a major reason for it. There's so many other. It'll become a footnote in the whole story, or at least it should, because really they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be playing the way they're playing right now. And once again, they're not playing awful. Mariota's still having. I mean, he almost had 200 yards and a touchdown in the first half, which it's not bad. I mean, he's still on target to get 400 yards and a couple scores, no turnovers.
There was just there doesn't seem to be any ability to carry over drives to get the big conversion. They're in the red zone. They go for it on fourth down because that's what Oregon does, and they get stuffed. I get why. I understand it. And Kirk Herbstreit was talking about this on the broadcast that that he liked the fact that they went for it on fourth down because that's who they are, and you don't want to do something weird and freak out the players. I get that, but at the same time, it's a national championship game. Take the points. And you get stuff to come away with nothing. It could be a one score game right now, or a one possession game right now.
Yeah,
I don't.
Once again, you got a young coach. Mark Helfrich has only been coaching as a head coach for a couple seasons.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's not one of those coaches. Even though he was an offensive coordinator, having to make these kind of calls. I mean, I think he's going to be a solid coach, the more experience he gets. But, I mean, he's only a couple years older than us. I can't imagine making those calls in this kind of a pressure situation.
And, totally unable to take advantage of Ohio State's 2 first-half fumbles.
That's what's crazy.
Absolutely no points from those turnovers. And those are things you need to take advantage of. I was talking earlier about Ohio State converting drives starting from their own end zone and how that's a sign of a good team. Well, good teams take advantage of turnovers.
Yes.
And especially when they're given to you. I mean, the one was just a botched exchange on his own read by Cardell Jones. So it's gift wrapped. You still can't do it. Can't do it. You cannot afford to let those opportunities go by in a national championship game.
No, not at all.
It's just goofy. Okay, so now it's 21-10.
21-10
at the half. I know you're an Ohio State fan. You think they pull it off?
I'm going to say they will, just because I think they have just as much talent as Oregon. And since I believe they do have superior coaching, with an 11-point lead, I think that'll be enough. I'm not saying I don't think Oregon is going to do anything in the second half. I think they're going to make a push. But I just think that with the weapons Ohio State has and the way their defense is playing, I just see them being able to stretch out the remainder of this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think it's going to come down to defense. If Oregon is able to come back and take control of this game or come back and take the lead in this game, it's going to be because they've made the mother of all halftime adjustments and have figured out some way to get past this rush defense by Ohio State. As a team, Oregon is averaging 3.8 a carry. That's not Oregon. You know, they're better. They execute better than that usually. They're getting outplayed right now by Ohio State's defense.
I just hope Marcus Mariota has a good second half. Like, I want him to have a solid game, win or lose, because I do believe that he is the most talented quarterback coming out in the draft, even though he hasn't said he is, but everyone knows he'll be the first pick as of right now. I just don't want him to have any kind of reason for people to question him over Jameis, the rapist Winston. So
alleged rapist.
He's a rapist.
For legal purposes. You can't say it on the air. It's alleged.
All right, crab stealer.
Okay, that one was pretty. Have you ever forgotten to pay for crab legs?
Never. And I always stick them down my coat, but I always pay for them.
Have you ever stood up in the middle of a college union and yelled vulgarities?
No, but I did have it with my pants off once.
Yeah, no, we've all been there.
Which is vulgar enough, so I didn't really have to say anything.
We've all been there. There's no need to apologize.
I know.
I'm just thinking about the group that we ran with in high school. I'm pretty sure we yelled vulgarities like Jameis Winston did. Pretty sure.
Yeah, we didn't stand on tables though. We more or less did it in movie theaters and out car windows.
And yelled it really loud, really fast, so no one knew exactly what we were saying.
That's right, Keith. Oh my God. Seems like just yesterday.
Bringing back memories, I know. All right, let's take a break, and when we come back, we will bounce around the NBA while we wait for the national championship game to progress. We'll revisit that throughout the show. You're listening to 87 Sports Fans live on Late Night Sports Radio.
So come on, break the rules. The time is